I started playing Fortnite back in 2018, and 2 years later, I made the switch to keyboard and mouse without watching a single tutorial. But fast forward to today, and the internet is filled with videos claiming to have the best, most optimal keybinds. The truth is, those setups aren't made for beginners. They're built for pros with thousands of hours and super specific habits. So in this video, I'll show you everything you need to know to find the best keybinds for you, not for someone else. It all starts with a foundation. The best advice for beginners in Fortnite or anything is to keep it simple. If you jump straight into complicated pro player binds, you're only making keyboard and mouse harder to learn. What most people don't realize is that almost every pro started off with simple binds. That's how they learned what worked and what didn't. Starting with simple binds now makes it way easier to spot weaknesses later and customize things around your playstyle. So what does simple actually look like? Honestly, for starters, you can keep most of the default binds. Use WASD for movement, it's the standard and the easiest to learn. And for jump, please just use spacebar, please. Once your movement is locked in, the next thing to focus on is your build and edit binds, because where you place these will determine where the rest of your binds go. I recommend keeping those binds close to your movement keys, specifically inside the highlighted zone on screen. Anything outside of that range, and you'll be stretching your fingers and slowing yourself down. A good example is using E for wall, because it's right above D, your right movement key. E is my wall bind, but comment your wall bind and I will heart it. If you're using a mouse with side buttons, that's another great option. Use them for walls or stairs to take pressure off your keyboard hand. After that, your focus is on crouch, sprint, and reload. These are used often, so they should be close and easy to reach. The key here is muscle memory, and making things memorable helps. For example, R for reload just makes sense. Finally, keep your pickaxe and weapon slots on the number keys 1 through 6. It's clean, easy to remember, and sets you up for better loadout management later on. Before I show you the keybinds I personally recommend for beginners, I need to ask you a favor. Please subscribe. Not just for more videos, but so I can finally prove to my parents that YouTube is a real job. I really don't want to end up filling out a job application at Arby's. Also, if you want to ask me Fortnite questions live or just watch me cook in real time, follow my Twitch, links in the description. I already showed you how important it is to keep things simple, so now let me give you a blueprint you can actually use. These are the keybinds I personally recommend for beginners. They're easy to learn, they make sense, and most importantly, they let you focus on playing instead of thinking about your fingers. WASD for movement is standard, no need to change it. Spacebar for jump, T for sprint, it's close and easy to reach. Tab for auto run, caps lock for crouch. Make sure to disable force walk because you don't want to accidentally slow walk in the middle of a 1v1. R for reload, it's easy to remember. 1 for your pickaxe, 2 through 6 for weapon slots, this keeps everything neat and intuitive. Scroll up for use, that way you can spam it to pick up items quickly. And make G your secondary use key just in case. These binds are spaced out naturally across your fingers to make building feel natural. E for wall, left shift for floor, Q for stairs, X for roof, left control for trap, and C for repair. If your mouse has side buttons, I highly recommend putting 2 of your builds on there to free up your fingers. F for edit, it's super quick to hit with your pointer finger. Also set scroll down as a secondary edit bind and for reset edit. That way you can just flick down to reset your builds instantly. Keep crouch the same, and unbind rotate. You don't want to accidentally flip a build during a fight. Move stuff like your emote, map, and inventory to far keys like B, M, and J, so you don't accidentally hit them mid-fight. All of these binds are simple, logical, and beginner-friendly. They're the perfect starting point if you're learning keyboard and mouse for Fortnite, and from here you can tweak and improve them over time. Once you get comfortable with your keybinds, you'll start to notice what works and what doesn't. That's when it's time to optimize. The best way to figure out what needs to change is by asking yourself the right questions. Here are a few of my go-tos. Which keys are uncomfortable or awkward to reach? What am I consistently messing up during fights? And what actions feel slow or clunky? Watch your gameplay back and ask yourself these questions. They'll point directly to the binds holding you back. Let's say you ask, what feels slow and not fluent? And you realize it's your editing. You could just practice editing more, but if it still feels off, like your finger is stretching too far or it's uncomfortable or tired, then that's your sign to change it. The key to smart bind optimization is being constantly aware of your weak spots and knowing what binds might be part of the issue. And when you do change something, only change one bind at a time. Trying to relearn multiple keys at once will just confuse your muscle memory and slow your progress down. Keep it simple, stay self-aware, and upgrade your binds as your skills grow, not just because someone told you to. Alright, you've got your keybinds, but now comes the hardest part, actually learning them. It takes time and repetition to build muscle memory, but to make it way easier, here's a 30-minute daily routine you can use to get comfortable fast. So hop into the map on screen for the first part of the routine. Spend the first 5 minutes in the edit section. This is needed to learn edits and warm you up for the next step. Alright, so first, when you're trying to learn keyboard or mouse, editing is just an easy place to start. It helps you learn how to move and just hit keys while moving. So what I recommend doing is I recommend going here and going to 0.8 speed to make it a little bit easier to start off with. So if you're just starting editing, which I'm assuming you're doing if you're learning keyboard and mouse right now, what I would do is I would just go to this map that I showed you, and I would just do wall edits as you're moving, because wall edits, you're going to use wall edits the most. And then you just want to practice doing different edits and walking through them. And if you go to 0.8 speed, it should be a lot easier. Even if you're going really slow like I am right now, you still should be able to kind of get them down right here. So I would, if I were you, I would just go through the whole line, and then I would respawn. And after you respawn, I'll go to stairs. So basically, with keyboard and mouse, you just need to learn the different movements for the edits and learn all the different edits. But yeah, you don't really want to start off trying to do these crazy edit courses like this, because if you're a beginner, you're just going to make it harder to learn each individual edit, and you're just going to try to like flail around fastly, if you know what I mean. It's not going to be good practice. Also, I have a full editing tutorial in the top right hand corner. You can go ahead and watch that if you want to learn how to edit even better. For the next 5 minutes, you want to go to the build section. After you warm up edits, you want to head into the free build section over here. And again, you want to change the speed to 0.8 and you're starting off just to make it easier to learn. Yeah, so the 3 drills I would work on if you're a beginner is just 90s, because it gets you used to moving and jumping while building. So I would work on 90s, and then the second drill I'll work on is just full boxing. Full boxing is super useful. All you have to do is press the wall, go build 4 walls really fast. It helps you also learn mouse movement and control, and then you can jump and build 2 cones or just build a floor above you. But literally, this is probably the most useful beginner move you can learn, especially if you're just learning keyboard and mouse. It pretty much uses all the builds except for stair. And the last thing I'd really practice in the free build section for this 5 minutes is just doing single edits. So you can either go like this with stairs, where you're building a floor and a stair and kind of getting the edits down. This is going to help you learn how to build an edit at the same time and get used to that. That's definitely one of the hardest parts of learning how to build an edit. And when you start off, it's going to be really hard, so you definitely need to have a lower speed here. The last 5 minutes in this map is in the piece control section. Alright, so lastly, you just want to do the piece control section, because this helps with many things. But the main reason you want to do this is because it combines both building and editing, which you just practiced. You have to build and edit to the bot and take a shot. So it helps you with switching weapons between weapons and builds. And you're going to be using all your builds, but it's really, really good. I recommend doing the basic ones like these 3. And then you can also do like the harder ones you can do. But I just recommend just trying to fill up all the builds and then get a good edit MP, because it's going to help you work on editing and building combined. And that's what you're basically going to be doing in fights. You're going to be doing a lot of this in actual fights. So if you just learn how to do this, excuse my gameplay, I have not played for a while. Also, I do have a full piece control tutorial you can click in the top right hand corner. It explains all the basic mechanics of piece control, and I recommend watching it after this video. Now that you're warmed up, hop into Piece Control TV2. This is where you'll really start building that muscle memory. This map is great because you'll use every important bind in real time. Editing, building, switching weapons, movement, all under pressure. Plus, you have a teammate to help you out while you're learning. Fighting against players will feel hard and frustrating at first, but you need to do those hard things to actually get good at the game. It won't feel perfect at first, but the more you'll do it, the more natural it will feel. Play consistently and you will easily get used to your binds. The truth is, there's no such thing as the best keybinds. There's only what works for you. And if you're new to keyboard and mouse, don't worry about being optimal. Just be comfortable and consistent. Build your foundation, then improve upon it over time. And keybinds are just one piece of the puzzle. So if you're serious about learning keyboard or mouse, tap the video on screen for my full guide. Subscribe and follow my Twitch to help me prove to my parents that YouTube is a real job. Jesus loves you, and I hope I'll see you again soon.